Hi everyone, I'm Josh Ledgard, co-founder of Kickoff Labs and host of the On Growth podcast. Today's guest operates a small chain of retail stores that decided to run a contest. They kept it simple, with a few winners receiving store credits as a prize and a discount for everyone that entered and then visited the store. Their goals were to grow the audience and get new customers in the door. They collected over 7,000 email addresses during the contest, grew their online social media audience, and measured a 20% bump in new buyers to the store who redeemed the in-person discount. If you're wondering if an online contest can translate into increased foot traffic for your retail location, the answer is yes. Give this episode a listen. Enjoy the show. Hi, everyone. My name is Josh Ledgard. I'm from Kickoff Labs. With me today is Daniel Paul from NOBO. NOBO is a cannabis retailer / dispensary, and they've recently wrapped up a contest on Kickoff Labs. So I wanted to talk to them a bit about that contest and the process, some of the things that are special about doing it from their specific industry, which might be important for others in the space if they're looking to do something similar. But first of all, Daniel, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so people can get a little bit more information about you. Can you tell us about your background? What led you into the cannabis industry?
Yeah, so I am an old school agency guy, always working for the client, representing them through the agency. And I had been working with NOBO as a client, and one day they said, "Hey, we're about to open up 4 stores in Michigan. Why don't you come, do that for us?" And I'm like, hadn't thought about it too much, but making a leap from the client side to the from the agency side to the client side was appealing, especially in a very fast growing, fast moving industry. So I just jumped at the opportunity to hone my skills in a brand new industry with lots of different rules and opportunities.
Cool. So what's something interesting that you learned jumping into the industry? So that was different from working with clients.
Specifically cannabis, one of the things that's the hardest is that each state that it's in which it's legal, the rules are different, whether it's packaging and how things have to be packaged to how things can be sold or even referenced. So in the state of Colorado, which was one of the first states, all of the retail locations are called dispensaries, whereas in Michigan, you cannot use the word dispensary. You have to use the word provisioning center. And not a lot of people new to the industry understand what a provisioning center is versus a dispensary. So it's just getting used to the rules, and then state by state, if you sell tires, pretty much the rules are the same state by state, whereas selling cannabis, the rules are different state by state.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes it challenging compared to just having maybe like a clothing retail store or something where it's you don't have to call it clothing in one state but apparel in the other.
Exactly, and it's funny, but even, and we'll get into it, but for the contest we ran at Kickoff Labs, because we're in the state of Michigan, and so we're surrounded by states where cannabis isn't legal, we had to make sure that the contest was only open to residents of the state of Michigan. So although it was exciting to customers from other states, we couldn't assign a winner. So running state-only contests are never the most fun.
So let's get into that. How did you find Kickoff Labs? What was your goal in mind when you started searching for a product?
We intended for one of the big cannabis holidays, 420, April 20th. So we wanted to do a big contest for 420 where we gave away credit at our store that could be used throughout the whole year. Mm-hmm. The key for us is making sure that it was really above board. It's not just a bunch of employees picking who the winner is. And so we were working with an agency partner, Echo Boomer Design, who said, "Hey, you guys want to do a contest? We've done them very successfully with Kickoff Lab. So why don't you guys check them out?" And I got to tell you, it was a great move. It just was so simple and easy to work with Kickoff Labs, even in a highly regulated industry like ours is, to do what we needed to do.
Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you for that. So you've got the idea. You want to run a contest. You found you were working with an agency partner. They recommended Kickoff Labs, and the contest was for store credit. So how did you what did you go about? How did you go about setting up let's talk about the contest setup. So what specifically did you do to set up the contest?
Well, and it will seem backwards, but it was the most important to us was jumping in and starting with what the rules were. what were the rules and regulations that we could we even run a contest in the state of Michigan that gave away store credit? So ultimately, yes, it could, but we had to put in, again, the caveat that it could only be awarded to a winner in Michigan. They had to be older than 21. So those were really the big things. So we really just had to go review the rules, make sure they were really crystal clear. And then it was sitting down and going through the editor and just building out all of the assets and everything we needed to make the contest work right, get the embed codes and put them into our website.
Cool. So can you tell me how you promoted it within your website then? Because I can see on your Kickoff Labs account, you do have a sign up page that's set up there, but it looks like you probably also embedded the contest within your website. So can you tell us about how you embedded this into your website? And you can tell everybody what your website is too, so they can.
If you're in Michigan, come by nobogoods.com. So during the time that the contest was running, we had a pop-up window that would pop up on your first visit that would say, hey, enter to win the contest. And so that was a pop-up. We also had a dedicated page where we could send paid media traffic to. That was a contest entry page. So we texted out and emailed out to our existing audience who we talk to all the time and said, hey, we've got this great big 420 contest. You could win, $420 worth of store credit at our store. Go here to enter. But then we also did do paid media through Weed Maps, as well as external sites that allow for cannabis advertising, and ran the contest that way, ran the promotion that way. So we spoke to our own audience, but then to get new people into the funnel, the top of the funnel, we promoted across the internet to those who were previously inclined to consume cannabis.
So you've got the embed and the pop-up going on your website, and then you also built a separate sign-up page that had basically the same mechanics on the sign-up page, where you were asking for, let's see, I have this up here. It looks like you were asking for
name, email address, phone number, and are you a legal resident 21 or plus of the state of Michigan? I think we wanted to make it really simple.
Yeah, so the form is super simple, but this is something that I tell people when people ask, like, oh, can you capture their location within Kickoff Labs? I say, well, if it's critical for the contest, like as part of your rules, you should probably force them to say, do you live here, or do you live in this area? Yeah. So you did that, and it didn't look like from your conversion rate that really lowered the conversion rate that you were seeing on the form. And then people enter the contest, and then they can earn more entries and improve their odds of winning with some of the Kickoff Labs and the contest mechanics we had. So it looks like you guys chose like telling your friends, liking us on Facebook, following us on Instagram, and following us on Twitter. So let's talk about the results then from the setup, and then we'll get to kind of some more about managing the contest in process. From your perspective, what were the results of the contest?
They were really good. If I'm remembering right now, it's a month ago, and so I've got a weak brain. I think we got almost 9,000 entrants, which was key for us. The other thing we did in asking for the people's info is we also had them check and agree in the rules that we could then use that entry information for marketing purposes, which was key, and you have to get that permission. So once you entered, we got your permission. We did that. So we got we got about 9,000 entrants, and we got 4 winners. We picked 4 winners as we said we would. And so far the response has been really good. I mean, we got a lot of people saying, God, I hope I win. We got a fair number of people who shared to increase their odds of winning. So that was good. And that's what we were looking to do, is really widen that top of funnel. We talk to our own customers, but how do we get more people to know who we are? So that really helped us when people would do that. Now, cannabis is a weird one. Either some people are very active and proactive about saying, hey, I'm a cannabis user, come join. Others still kind of look at the stigma of it and stay away from promoting and sharing that they're entering the contest. But overall, we were very happy with the contest.
Yeah, I can see if you narrow it down to like people sharing the page, you had 20% of people were coming from a share link, but for the overall contest, it was a little bit lower than our average, which is what I would expect. It was closer like 5 to 10% of your leads were coming from sharing, and But as you said, I would expect that because it's not the
Yeah.
kind of thing where everybody's going to go and feel comfortable immediately promoting that online. So just getting a little bit is probably helpful. Did you
Yes.
see any, besides the email audience growth, did you see audience growth on your other channels as part of the contest of people just more passively taking the follow steps?
Yeah, we actually, one of the things, I don't know if it shows there, but one of the things we did is everybody who entered as part of their thank you for entering got a discount on their next purchase. So it moved people to come in. So we gave people a pre-roll or a pack of gummies for a penny once they entered the contest. So we did have a fair number of people come in and redeem that email follow-up. So that was pretty good. And I think if I remember right, I think about 20% were new customers that came in. They were not previously in our database.
In a short amount of time. So this was the contest spanned. You basically did kind of a month leading up to 420. It looks like, and so in the span of a month to get a 20% increase in the audience size is a good seems like a good result.
Especially in a very noisy period, every other dispensary or provisioning center in Michigan was running some sort of promotion. So that's why we wanted to make it bigger and not just day of, but we kind of wanted to create this build towards something that was coming.
So now, sorry, obviously you guys emailed, your existing email list and told them about the contest. What other things were you doing to promote the contest?
We did a lot of paid media on network sites that allow for cannabis advertising. So we did a paid programmatic buy with the agency who introduced us to Kickoff Labs to go and get people who had previously searched for cannabis, have been to cannabis locations, so that we knew that they had a higher proclivity of entering the contest and it'd be less wasted. So that helped us get to people who may have never visited us before, but were excited, we hope, to see a cannabis-based advertisement.
I can see that. And so how much money would you say you spent in advertising for the campaign?
We spent about $12,000. We spent about $12,000 on top of the contest. And remember, cannabis is still, you can't just go to Google and buy media on Google for cannabis. So we had to go use a network that is open to cannabis content.
Cool. So then you picked a winner, and then just kind
four winners.
You picked 4 winners. And then did you follow, and it sounds like you followed up with people afterwards. And I think you kind of went over that really quickly. So I just want to make sure people hear this. So it wasn't just that it was over when you followed up with the winners, but then you also offered an additional promotion afterwards to people that had.
Well, no, during the promotion. So when you signed up, your email, they got an email back that said, "Hey, thank you for signing up for NOBO's contest. Good luck. But by the way, before entering, we're going to give you a pre-roll or a pack of gummies for a penny. Just stop into any local NOBO, stop into your local NOBO retailer to get that." So we got a good, we got those who already were customers that did it, but we got a fair number of new customers who came out of that as well.
Cool. So did you tell people that before they entered their information, like as a bribe for getting them to enter their information?
Oh, yeah,
is that something they found out as a surprise afterwards?
No, we told them that for each entry, you get a pre-roll for a penny. What I wanted to avoid were the contest chasers, but because of the unique nature of the contest, because it was only open to Michigan, because it was only really for store credit, we didn't have a lot of store chasers. In fact, because of what Kickoff Labs offers with the identity and the fraud support, we got, we were able to really weed out a lot of people who, loaded up on email addresses trying to win. And that was really one of the things that we wanted to do.
If you were to run another contest, what changes would you make from this one? So what have you learned from running this contest?
I may have had the entry period a little bit longer. And that's pretty much it. I mean, everything worked out really well. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but working with Kickoff Labs was phenomenal. It was so simple that it makes me want to do more contests. And, you don't always get that with a SaaS product, but it really was simple to do it with Kickoff Labs. And I got to tell you, it's like the adrenaline, like when the contest opened, like 4 or 5 of us would go to that page the entry page every day, every time, a couple hours a day, just to see how many people had signed up. Like, how was our reach? What were we doing? So those were the things that were really interesting, exciting for us, was just watching people continue to sign up.
I can always see on our internal stats the contests that are currently running, because you see the refreshes on the leads pages going up.
Yeah.
So people that are like just launch a contest, especially, they hit refresh on that page, and I took a note to myself and I said, we should do something to make that page more fun. Every time they hit refresh, if there's no leads, just some animation that says, sorry, no leads this time, but maybe next time.
Well, that would make me crazy, because if I saw no growth in the leads, I would have started to freak out. So yeah, you got to do something, or what I would do is throw up hints or tips on how to increase the signups. Hey, have you considered this? Did you turn on our refer a friend process, or whatever it is? What can we do? How can we help you to kind of increase your leads?
That's a great idea, putting something more useful than an animation on the site. So actually, tips for doing that.
Hey, and you guys probably know. Hey, did you know those people who refer a friend saw 20% growth in XYZ, whatever it is, like that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's a great suggestion. Thank you. Cool. So, do you have the one big advice I heard in the beginning was just, especially if you're in a regulated space, whether it be like alcohol, tobacco, firearms, or like, cannabis, is like making sure you understand the rules and what you can do. And I mean, even outside of that is still important, because there's always age restrictions, and different states have different rules for running competitions if you're running it within a state for a store, especially. But what other advice would you give to somebody who's got, maybe not in a regulated space, but they just have some retail locations and they're thinking about, like, maybe a contest is right for us? What advice would you give to that kind of person?
Make sure it's crystal clear how to enter. Make sure it's crystal clear as to what you're going to win, and the delivery of that. If it's a physical thing, am I responsible for the shipping? The taxes, anything along those lines. Make it really, really crystal clear. Like, ask people who aren't even in your business, does this make sense? Because we all think about it, and we know what we're trying to achieve, but just take it to somebody else. I always call it my mom test. I show it to my mom and, like, do you understand this? Do you know what you're going to win, how to win, all of those things? So that's what I would do, is just really make sure you're approaching it and are crystal clear on everything that you're doing.
No, 100%. That's definitely the advice we give people. You hear people all the time think about, like, oh, what if I have like this kind of promotion or prize, but then you've got to do XYZ to earn it, but then another prize where you do Z, Y, and B to earn it. And I just always have to say, like, slow down. Let's just start with, there's a prize and you can win it, and here's how.
And I think internally, be crystal clear as to what your expectations are. What are your KPIs? What's going to be your measure of success? For us, it was opening up the funnel. It was getting people back into the store and all those things. But really understand, why am I running this contest? What do I want to get out of it? What do I want my consumer to get out of it? But what do I want to get out of it? And most retail locations, most people run it because they want to grow their business. That's fine. But what and how do you do it is really the question.
Yeah, did I hear what you said in terms of how you want to get out of it? Did I catch that you said you got 20% new customers who hadn't been in the store because they were redeeming their, like, what they got for entering?
Correct.
Awesome.
So that's why we put that in there. We gave it so that you would have to come back into the store. But we also wanted to find a way, like, if you've never been there, could we motivate you to come back into the store? Or come into the store.
And did you guys track sales totals you got from people that came from the contest?
Yeah, and I'm still running through those numbers to kind of see what it is. That was sort of secondary. I mean, we thought about it, but it wasn't a primary driver on that to increase sales. It really was a branding, increase awareness. So yeah, we are still pulling through all of that to see what we could do.
Cool. Anything else you'd want to tell anyone that you feel like we should have covered but we didn't?
No, I think you guys made running a contest super, super simple, and that was key for us to do that. So that's what we're really, really happy about. So we would definitely do another contest through Kickoff Labs.
Well, obviously, let us know. Let us know if we can help you down the line. Get up and review a contest before you launch it. We're happy to. We always love giving our 2 cents on things and promotions. So feel free to email us, and we'd be happy to help out going forward. Thanks, Daniel, for
Absolutely.
joining us today. This has been a great conversation, and I know if you're running a retail store, you could learn from some of these best practices that we called out today. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and have a great day.